I want to talk about Iran's capabilities as on date. I also want to talk about the layered air defense system for the protection of Israel. So Iran has threatened to target Israel with newer generation missiles, including hypersonic missiles, some that can travel 14 times the speed of sound. The United States and Israel have a multi-tiered grid in place for the protection of Israel from incoming Iranian missiles, rockets, and drones. So as the crow flies, let's take a look at that map. As the crow flies, the distance between Tehran and Tel Aviv is approximately 1,600 kilometers, 1,592 kilometers to be precise. Iran has several ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, even hypersonic missiles capable of hitting targets more than 2,000 kilometers away. So every bit of Israel is within the reach of Iranian missiles. The United States has multiple bases across this region, but just look at the map there. Iran, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Jordan, and then Israel. Virtually everywhere, the US has bases in between. The satellites, the drones, the reconnaissance aircraft, and the radars. They can triangulate the exact location the moment a missile is fired from Iran, or in case of satellites, they can just monitor almost constantly. The radars track the flight of the missile. The US and Israel have a command and control center that identify the incoming threat. Usually, it's a barrage of missiles, rockets, and drones. It's to saturate the air defense system. But then they're also using artificial intelligence, from what sources tell India Today, to identify the immediate threat and the threats that will fall harmlessly in open areas, or ones that will take down vital assets or vital points. The US has its Patriot missile batteries deployed, take for example at the Ain al-Assad base in Iraq. The US also has both the Patriot and the THAAD, or the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missiles. Their batteries are there in Jordan's Muafiq Sati Air Base, for example. Now, the same base in Jordan also has the F-15 Striking Eagle Squadron, and these F-15s are in an air defense role. Now, should the incoming threat not be taken down at various levels, either by Jordan or by Iraq or by Saudi Arabia, the US has an aircraft carrier strike group deployed in the Mediterranean Sea to take down any incoming threat, because the aircraft carrier strike group has its own anti-missile defense system. It can spot missiles from the moment they are launched and decide which missile is to be taken down. Israel has its own multi-tiered air defense system, from the Iron Dome to the David Sling to Patriot and THAAD systems, all geared to take down incoming missiles at different altitudes and at different distances. The Iron Dome, for example, is designed for point defense. It can take down even an incoming artillery barrage or short-range rockets between 30 and 70 kilometers away. The THAAD, supplied by Pentagon, that area defense system can intercept an incoming missile outside the atmosphere, actually, up to 200 kilometers. The David Sling, again, it's a middle-tier Israeli missile defense shield that can intercept a cruise missile, and of course short-range ballistic missiles up to 300 kilometers. Then you also have the Arrow system, the Arrow 3. They can target medium-range ballistic missiles, and they can go up to 2,400 kilometers, take down the threat at source. Both the US and Israel have their fighter jets in the air to take down an incoming threat should it dodge this multi-tiered system. And given the speed of a hypersonic missile, the Iranian strategy is to saturate the skies with drones, with rockets, with missiles, so that the system gets overwhelmed. And there have been instances that targets have been hit. And I want to bring in General Pandey on this. General, Israel may have the best air defense system and US may support it. Somewhere down the line, does Iran still have the capability, and especially when Iran is threatening that it will now hit with newer generation missiles with 1-ton payload and more, is the threat only increasing now?
Yeah, so, any system, any tech HR system can be always overwhelmed. It's just about design, effort, and how to get under the tech. Now, hypersonics have got the speed and the range to reach out and hit out in case. So, they may have, everybody may have layered. In case all these layers work, these strikes which have been landing into Israel and to the bases would have not done so. And they have been able to achieve. But aim is right now, Gaurav, I think it's very important that you carry out also an analysis that while there is a $1 billion expenditure for the US government, how much do they have as a backup? Because right
Hmm.
now they have not even spent a percentage of their actual kitty into this operation. Now let's go to the Iranian side. How much
Yes.
expenditure is Iranians taking in terms of damage and even firing an hypersonic? Every hypersonic missile or a ballistic missile which is fired has got a cost which has to come about. And how much empowered in terms of economic terms is Iran is. So how many can you fire? When you carry out these parameter checks, and every hypersonic missile must have an equitable damage requirement to be done. So, they may fire at a establishment, let's say an air base. It may land at an air base has got no value. It may hit a oil depot. In the when you say oil depots have got storage tanks, and they
Yes.
may hit one storage tank. How much is the damage which is going to be out? It will not be contained. So the challenge of a hypersonic and expensive missile to travel 1600 kilometers where it can be intercepted, the issue is that how many will actually land and what are
Okay.
the consequences will happen when you carry out this expense to the result ratio. I don't think you look at the cost. They have
Okay.
fired thousands of missiles, but
True.
they have only eight servicemen of US, maybe more have lost life, right? Which is not retrievable. But everything which America has spent in terms of billions of dollars has got a possibility of retrieving.